What's up, everybody? Right now, I am sitting next to JP. You go by JP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He is the reason that I am here. And that's weird, but I'm a millennial and am easily influenced by people on the internet, which is funny enough now my job. I watched both of your movies and then subsequently all of your content on his YouTube channel, which is called The Stable Cyclist. And I watched together. I think I've watched it 5 times. And I guess I'm just like a big fan. And your movie like spoke directly to the things that I wanted to experience and like learn about.
Sure.
And I first off is like, thank you for making that.
Yeah.
Whenever I consume content, a lot of the times I consume it with also the thought of looking at it from the lens of the director too.
Sure.
And one of the decisions that you made that I've always loved in this is sometimes I feel like in documentaries that are about like a pro athlete or somebody, it's very tunnel visioned
Sure.
on just them, but the crew and you are a part of the story. And
Yeah.
Can you walk me through that decision? Because I personally think that is brilliant, and it
Yeah.
really sucked me into the experience, like the texting with people during the movie, just having the crew be like, everybody told me they couldn't help me, and all of a sudden the dude's just like, I gotta figure this out. Like, I think that's amazing.
Some of it comes from, that was the second film
Yeah.
about the Maah Daah. The first film of the Maah Daah kind of happened by accident. I was supposed to come out here and do the movie that we're here to shoot this year in 2023. I was in a terrible mountain bike accident a month before. I had to like relearn how to do a lot of things. And one of the guys in our camera crew currently came with me because we had a whole bunch of budget money, and then there was like no sign of me riding a bike again.
Okay.
Like
Wow.
in a competitive manner ever in the future. And so we were like, well, we got money, let's go make a film anyways. That kind of story and how like Aaron really pulled that project off. And he's like a school teacher with no background in film, and he ended up doing a lot of the shooting because I wasn't real like helpful.
Okay.
His story kind of got woven in. And then last year we had to like triple the size of the crew because we were actually being paid to come out here and do the race by the organization. And there were these things that happened during the day that like Matthew having to figure, like, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting, and it became so interwoven in the actual story of like, these guys are being fed by this one guy, and our people are now responsible for this SAG driver getting there, and it just became part of the story. And I work really hard in all of the stories I do, whether it's this or the Chase Work series, of how can we relate to everybody?
Yeah.
Because like most people do not relate to the front end of the race. It's entertaining, but at the end of the day, it does not help them at all. And so it's like, how can we create real human stories that help people move through their days and find, relations? And it's like good relationships and friendships. And that's ultimately where this movie, as Gordon and Thomas like careen away from the course record, and it was the realization this is about so much more that's relatable to everyone. We all want a friend who will do hard shit with us.
Yeah.
That like we can really depend on, and will look at us and be like, we can do this when maybe you don't think you can.
I've watched it multiple times, like I said, and Gordon, at first, whenever he decided to slow down,
Yeah.
I was extremely frustrated. And I've since, I don't know if matured is the right word, but on subsequent rewatches of this film, I have now come to really appreciate his choice. I remember times where I'm just going to pull this one out because it's on the channel and Trey's a big part of the channel.
Yeah.
One time me and Trey did the same thing.
Yeah.
We raced a local gravel race, and we did it with mountain bikes, and it was the drop bar mountain bike race that we did, and that was kind of an early thing we did on the channel that was popular. Trey let me win the race.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, man, this is your thing.
Yeah.
And like he could have left me at any time, and like he didn't. And then I like, upon rewatching it, I started to relate more to like Gordon's mentality in that too.
Well, and I think a lot of people that watch it, especially if we're competitive, and even within the production crew, when we saw Gordon, wait, we were, hey man, we in the way of your truck?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I'll just run you over. It's not
Okay. Even the production crew that day, when Gordon stopped or slowed down to wait for him, initially as a production crew, we were despondent, I guess is maybe the right word, because we had come to film this race record. And it was the second year in a row where we had been filming at the Maah Daah, and we were 100% sure this is the story, and people are gonna love it.
Yeah.
And the story went out the window, and we were kind of like, I don't know what the story even is now. Like, what are we doing here? And I remember being in the finish line last year, almost depressed about, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. And then as I talked more with Gordon, and I went out to Tennessee to film, obviously, in the fall.
Okay, so that happened after.
That happened after,
okay.
Yep. I just saw it in a whole different light, and I was like, oh, this is the story. You know, this is what this is about. And Gordon and I had a really private moment after the race. He knew we were there to film a record being broken, and he had said to me, nobody else was around, and he's like, I could have left him.
Yeah.
And he said, but I think if I would have left him, there's a chance that both of us would have ended up with nothing. And I was like, oh, this is the movie.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do now, is talk about this and being, friends doing something together that's hard. And so, yeah, it's how we end up here.
No, I think the reason we're filming this is because I want you to go watch it if you haven't. It's a breath of fresh air for like a sport that is underrepresented, but also represented in a lot of ways that sometimes are unrelatable. I can't think of another person that's made modern, and if I'm wrong, comment down below because I'd love to watch it, but like modern cross-country gravel content in the way that you have, which I thank you for because it was awesome. You're racing this year.
Yep.
So we're racing tomorrow.
Yep.
And is this a secret that you're filming a movie, or is it?
No.
Okay.
It's way out in the open.
Okay. So this one's interesting, y'all. I think there's some lore buried on your channel a little bit that I've now learned because I've watched it all of it. So this is the redemption ride, or
essentially.
Yeah. How does that feel? That's an easier plot through line to follow for sure. But
as long as nothing goes too sideways.
I hope something does. That would be.
Yeah, initially in 2023 we were gonna come here. I'm very out in the open that I have bipolar disorder, and the bike has been a huge part of like my journey back to kind of finding normalcy in my life. And I raced here in 2019. It went horrifically wrong, but I still finished. In hindsight, we look back and we know I was very, very unstable at the time. And I saw a hole in the bike scene where I saw a whole bunch of guys, especially, you're a young millennial, I'm an old millennial, but like our age who like, I don't care if you're at the front of the race or not, like mental health is a real thing for everybody. And it's maybe not directly for you, but it's directly for somebody tangential to you. And so I wanted to start kind of using this to talk about that. And we were going to come here and film this movie. It's called Back to the Start. And
I love that title, man. Yeah, that's a hype title.
Yeah, and it's literally how do you restart your life after a very serious mental health diagnosis. So the story follows me from basically 2019 finishing here through trying to get back here. And like I said, we were already in 2023. I had this terrible mountain bike accident. And the dream kind of died. I had to go through, like, this arm would not swing after the accident. And I had to relearn how to move this arm. I had to relearn how to use my eyes together. I still, zero depth perception. I lost it in the accident, which is really tricky on the mountain bike.
I can't even imagine what that's like. My brain is like breaking thinking about how to like perceive that.
Yeah, so I didn't have a lot before the accident, but now it's all gone. And my eye doctor was like, you mountain biked before, with like building in coping mechanisms, you'll do that again. But I had kind of become reserved. We made Maah Daah the first one, then we made Maah Daah together. We're going to these premieres all over the country where we're seeing like real impact, where we're talking to like people our age in theaters about friendship, about being involved in community, getting plugged in. And I was really content with that. When last year's race finished, one of my closest friends is Derek Wallace. He finished and he got third.
Yeah, we just had
dinner with him. He's an amateur who made podium here in a year where there's like hitters.
I told him at dinner, I was like, man, like that, because I've since learned about it. I was like, wow, that was an incredible ride you had there. Yeah, and I was like, do you race? He's like, not really.
Yeah. So he finished his third. It's like performance of his life. It's one of the top amateur performances out here ever. And the first thing that happened is he came over to me and he's like, next year we're coming back and we're going to ride this together. And at the time, there was not a thought in my head about coming back as a competitor. I wrote it today on social media. I'm like, I was content. I was content to do this film life and just be a biker. And I was enjoying it. And he was like, no, man, like you were a good bike racer. We're going to go do this. And so this year has been coming back and getting ready, and here we are.
I'm excited for it.
And it plays into the whole story even of last year. Like, go do an adventure with a buddy. And go, like, be tight, support each other. My favorite thing from last year's film is not any of the Gordon Thomas stuff. It's when Nick's dad is the SAG driver for Gordon and Thomas. Yeah. And Nick's dad is like, I've never done this. I don't know if I can do it.
He's such a character.
Yeah, he is. And Nick looks at him and says, no, Dad, you're the best person for this job. And so often in our lives, we need somebody who will look at us and see us for who we are like meant to be, and not who we see ourselves or limit ourselves to be. And you know, that happens a bunch of times in that Together film, but Derek was that for me, who he looked at me at the finish line, he's like, no, you're not just a filmmaker, you're still a bike racer, and we're gonna go do this. And so that's why we're here. And that's why I'm making films like this, is because I want other people to see it too. Like, go do cool stuff.
Yeah.
And get in a community where people will look at you and see you like your potential, and not as like the limits that, again, a lot of times our mental health puts on us and tells us we can't do.
I appreciate that, because it's such a hard thing for people my age to even talk about.
Yeah.
Like, and I think you've talked about that at nauseum, but the reason I'm making this video is because I want you to watch his content. That's the point. Like, like that's what I'm trying to say, is like, I've taken a lot of it and learned, I've been able to enjoy a lot of it and feel a lot more comfortable in a lot of the topics that you're talking about, or I just think you're doing a great job. When is this movie? Obviously it's going to take a long, it's not even filmed yet. We're filming this before the race.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take for these things to turn around?
So, in the first two, we actually did a premiere. The first premiere was here. They do a volunteer appreciation for all the people that help with the Maah Daah Trail, like keeping it up with all the workers of the races. And then we typically do some other premieres around, I think both films came out around the 1st of February on YouTube.
Okay.
And I'm not putting them behind paywalls, and I'm not putting them like in, I want them available. I want anybody to go find it.
I appreciate that a lot, because I wouldn't have watched it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have watched it.
Well,
yeah.
and a lot of film festivals now still accept stuff once it's on YouTube. Like Together is an award-winning film, because we got it in some film festivals, and so probably around February 1st, sometime in there, and there'll be a ton of stuff on social and on YouTube leading up to it. So
that's actually how I caught it, because I watched it the day it came out. I don't know why I caught it, but no, I caught it because of Gordon.
Sure.
Yeah, because I've followed Gordon for a while. I don't know him personally. I've raced him a few times, but I saw it on his thing, and I was like, "What is this? You got me, man! Like, you got me so hard that I came to the event. Like, like seriously."
Well, when I met Trey in Kansas at Unbound, he was like, "Yeah, I know who you are. We've watched the movies." And I was like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "I think Jesse's gonna actually go. He liked it so much." I was like, "Wow, okay." So awesome. Glad you're here.
You too, man. I can't wait to see how your day goes.
Yeah. It'll be a good time.
I'm nervous. So I've watched a lot of the content.
Yeah.
And I'm that guy who's looking at this as like, I've done a lot of 100-mile races, and I'm likely underestimating it, which is funny.
You told me last night you've watched all of my How to Survive videos.
Yes, I did.
And you don't believe me.
I believe you, and I don't believe you at the same time. And the reason I don't believe you is personal, and it's because I know that you're making a video for a wide audience.
Sure.
Me saying that I don't believe you is not the same as like a random dude.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
And that's where, like, if I'm wrong, you can make fun of me.
Yeah, well, at some point tomorrow, it's going to hit you, and you're going to be like, JP was right.
Yeah, I'm going to think about it. And I'm being fun right now, but like, I'm excited to learn. Going into races like this blind is, you only get to do it one time.
Yeah.
You only get to be completely blind going to an event one time, and that's why I'm so excited for just that first experience. And big thanks to everybody who supports the channel, because without y'all, I wouldn't have the logistics support to be able to come out here. So thank you to everybody who's watching this too. Thank you so much to JP. Check him out at the Stable Cyclist. We're going to link you below, and I can't wait for the next movie. Oh, we're going to film a video that's going to go on his channel.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. So we have the actual film itself that's part of the Maah Daah series, back to the start, and then we also have a spin-off mini-series that is called The Lost Chapters, and we try and highlight one or two people every year in that film. And you're one of the lost chapters this year. It's people that we're like, we think could be a good story and it's an interesting day, but we can't follow you because we're following other people with the production crew. So that'll come out in late February or March.
We'll promote it then. Stay tuned for that, because it's going to be sweet. But anyway, we're going to film that right now, and we'll see y'all tomorrow at the race.
Right on.